So the heart of your, underlying energy is the Seven of Cups. This has a lot to do with making decisions, family. Breaking past the smoking mirrors, the Two of Swords, something. Oh, geez, that's interesting. Why is the Two of Swords coming up? The Knight of Wands. Okay, I feel like now typically I don't think the Knight of Wands is seen or read as someone that's definitely focused on their freedom, but I really feel like this is one of those cases, right? Living in the moment, doing what you feel like you're led to do in that moment. Um, doing what you enjoy, dropping it if it doesn't, if you're not enjoying it. But the Two of Swords is interesting because it talks about a difficult decision that you have to make. Not one that you don't know if, if it's the right choice, but more so, it's more so like kind of just walking the talk because you have to pick the perspective that leads you to, that leads you to your swords where you have to face a, situation. The thing is that okay, well, that decision is going to get us to a certain area that we all don't really want to touch on, but we have to in order for us to truly heal. And I feel like the Two of Swords coming up, it does go hand in hand with the Six of Cups, and I think it's weird. I don't know if you guys are truly trying to not make a decision or you were trying to make a decision, like trying to just keep the balance or something. I think you honestly just couldn't see something, especially regarding how you felt, because you're not very complicated regarding that right now. Like you're not very, you're not looking for a specific happiness, I think. Like you just want something that isn't boring. I think you want something that is exciting, But I feel like for some of you guys, with the Seven of Cups here, you kind of been there, done that kind of energy. Some of you guys, this is like, some things that may feel like they're really good options, but seem a little too good to be true. Like you just don't know if you really want to go there. Um, and really just kind of seeing past the details, seeing past the cups. I think the purpose of all of this is that there's a little bit too much of a specific sort of energy with this. I think somebody is looking at these Seven of Cups, expecting to see the situation through and through, or at least getting some idea of what's going on instead of just kind of going what they want to feel. Because I think that's the Two of Swords. It's like I think the thing is that if you had to make the decision about what you wanted to do emotionally, like figuring out what you wanted to do, you have to open up that can of worms of how do you feel about it. And since we're in Cancer North Node, Cancer's making everybody cry, especially has been making me cry. So not in a bad way, of course. Things have happened, and it's interesting how the stars align. So it helps us make sense of what we're going through. But the situation is showing to me that the difficulty regarding making decisions about what you want to do has a lot to do with how you guys not react, but how you guys are in touch with your emotions, right? Because I think the thing is that you have to look at how you feel in order for you to know what exactly you want to do. Okay, because the heart of your reading is the Page of Pentacles, right? Somebody may have offered you guys something, extended an offer to you guys. For some of you guys, this is about, maybe this is some sort of boring work that you guys have to do, or some sort of step in your life where it's not very entertaining, it's really dull, but you know that it's going to benefit you in some sort of way. The challenge for me has a lot to do with maybe looking at the details, saying something a little bit too thoroughly, or maybe not thoroughly enough. But the challenge is crossed with the Ace of Swords, right? I think the thing that's crossing you has a lot to do with clarity in a situation. I think you're looking at something, you're looking at a small snapshot of something, but not seeing something from a bigger picture. It's very interesting. For some of you guys, you are doing that very thing. You're looking at something from a bigger picture. Some of you guys, there's some details that you may be missing because you're looking at something very in a minute fashion. The Ace of Swords is the truth, the clarity through the truth, right? That's the obstacle. Like I feel like you're looking at something very, very small and trying to get a bigger sample of something, a broader perspective. But the broader perspective is by looking at the broader perspective, not by looking at the details. I think that's where you may come up short. And I feel like a lot of this Page of Pentacles too, maybe it may not even be that. It may have a lot to do with in order to assess what is valuable to you, you have to know what your truth is regarding your feelings on this, or regarding what you feel is of value to you and what's not. Knowing your own, belief systems, the change of belief system, the change of perspective, because this old value system, this Page of Pentacles, well, I think you're taking another look at it, taking another glance. In the past, Yeah, manifested. Okay, Three of Wands. Definitely something you were waiting for. You had definitely expected it to come through. I feel like for some of you guys, you just have been just working on stuff and just kind of doing your own thing, and I feel like it just kind of. Sometimes I feel like for some of you as Aquarians, y'all, you be working hard, and sometimes stuff just falls on your lap. You're like, oh, I didn't think about this. I haven't thought about this since May, or July, or June, January. It doesn't, it just kind of like something that you may have thought of at one point and it fell on your lap. Now, some of you guys, you have been intentionally working hard towards something. You've been definitely been patient. You've been waiting. You've been doing your due diligence, and you've been waiting and allowing time to kind of, come in, to come in and do its due, right? Give you what you've been trying to manifest in the first place. So there's something that you were expecting, and now you have the Page of Swords. Some of you guys, this may be a truth personally for you, like a personal truth. This could be the very two swords that we saw here with the Two of Swords. Right? A perspective of your own, and then a new perspective, right? You gotta kind of like make a decision about which sword you're going to use, which sword you're going to be applying to a certain situation. But how can you really make the decision if you're not seeing the whole picture, if you're not seeing everything? And that's the thing with the Page of Pentacles. I really don't think that there's a lot that you're seeing. Like there's a broader sense to it, and the world is giving me that broader sense. There's something more, but the world isn't necessarily about looking at something at a whole wide scale. Not necessarily. I can, at least how I'm reading it today. But the world, to me, it kind of is giving me like, okay, there's a new sort of perspective, not a full-fledged Ace of Swords like the like obviously that you have here. But this new perspective is what you've got kind of it's something new that you've got going on that's kind of turning that wheel a little bit. And there's no Wheel of Fortune. This is not a Wheel of Fortune side of energy, but this is shifting from one phase of your life to the next. This is, completing a cycle and a successful completion to a cycle. Transition. And I almost like there's some sort of truth, there's some sort of perspective that you've heard from someone else, or maybe something that you've realized about yourself that's definitely evolving it's creating some sort of change. It's creating a sequence to something new. Now, where it's interesting because this Ace of Swords as well, it's crossing the Page of Swords. So this truth is this new perspective that's causing this new beginning. But for some interesting reason, the projected future is the Five of Cups. So it gets you to look at the Three of Cups, the old issues, the old cups. But I don't think you're looking at this as like a oh my god, it's gone kind of feel. Almost like an examiner kind of thing. You're like, the perspective, this new perspective that you have here, has a lot to do with that small, minute detail of the loss that you may have faced. Not that you're going to have more loss or you're going to lose something more, but it's almost like you're examining something a lot more closely than you have been before. And it has to do with something that you may have lost, or you've some sort of opportunity that you may have missed. The King of Pentacles is your goal, aim, ambition. Interesting card to have here. Which to be honest with you, your goal, aim, or ambition has a lot of different possibilities, especially how this reading is going. But the King of Pentacles, to me, when it comes up for this situation, is that you definitely want to feel a little more grounded, because the situation is a little bit crazy with the Seven of Cups. Everything's fantasy at this moment. Everything is possible. It's possible. It's magic. It's yada, yada, yada. But it's like, okay, well, that's true. But which one am I going to manifest and treat to be my own? Because right now, I feel like this is a very possessive sort of a situation. Like, the reason why you're looking at a detail so closely perhaps has to do with what you want to possess of your own. To be honest, like, I kind of get a little possessive energy from the King of Pentacles, to be honest with you, because I feel like you want something that's yours, something that belongs to you. You've been manifesting it for some time, you got a new truth, yada yada yada, big, better, bing, better, boom. But what you lost is something that's very close and precious to you. And again, I don't think you see this as you're going to lose something else, you're going to lose something. No, I feel like you're going to look at a situation a little differently about what you find precious to you, therefore you can have it for yourself, if that makes sense. You're kind of reestablishing what is yours, It's very odd, right? Very interesting way it comes out. And it's not odd for you guys, obviously. Like, you're normal, you're human. I've just, like a freaking Taurus. Like, this is a Taurus ring, I could totally understand, right? So why wouldn't it be like that for you, right? Because I think it's people have this perspective of you guys being open and free and, unconforming. But you guys have this possessiveness about you too. You want to possess something. You want something to be yours, but you don't want it to control you. You don't want to control it. You guys control freaks to a certain degree, but you don't want things to kind of take over anything that is of yours. Like, you just want something to belong to you. The Lovers is coming up with this, and it's definitely making my eyes open wide, because I think you guys are changing your perspective about love in general, the value of a relationship, the value of someone being yours and yours alone, right? Not necessarily belonging to other people. Like, friendships are great. I think there's nothing wrong with friendships. I think this is the Two of Cups is what needs to be really looked at, right? The shift of the focus, because that loss in friendships is something that I feel like, oh, maybe this little loss in friendships that trigger something about a relationship, a interpersonal relationship, a relationship between two people, right? I feel like there's something that you may not be getting from this, from the Two Cups, not because you haven't had enough of them, but because you've experienced great loss. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Some of that may resonate with very little of you, but there is something very big from this, this re-examination of your past that will help kind of reinforce this new perspective for the future, which has to do with love and connections with people, with love. Oh, no. And the sixth, so anyway, it makes a lot of sense with the Nine of Wands and the Two of Swords. Like, some of you guys were happy being bachelors and bachelorettes. You don't want to settle down. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone, but you don't really want to be alone. And I don't think that's the thing. I don't think you guys thought of it as being alone. I think you just want something of your own. I think you just want your own person. You want someone to belong to you, and you want to belong to someone. Because the King of Pentacles belongs to someone. He makes a conscious effort to commit himself to people, to commit himself to others, to commit himself to himself. But I feel like this is no longer about committing yourself to you, because you already know that you commit yourself to yourself. It's about maybe extending that commitment to someone else, to having someone. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and see what your romance angels is about this time around. Get us a bigger picture of what we got going on here. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Okay, that is making me really look at that Five of Cups a little closer now, because typically you don't think about exes coming back, but if you think about it, the Five of Cups can indicate somebody that came back with a situation, from a situation that was devastating. I can kind of see that, right? It's like somebody lost something precious, right? Something obviously that was close to their heart, and then the relationship is still there. There's something there still, right? Some of you guys, it could be that you are connecting with someone from the past, yeah, or like, and then you guys could have been waiting for this person and you moved on, or you think you did, but then this person comes right back up the second you think you're done. The world can indicate, usually when I was kind of getting that vibe of some sort of completion of a cycle, moving from one phase to the next, and something small, some sort of message here. But I'm getting the sense that there's some sort of unfinished business now with that world and the Five of Cups. Right? Because to think about it, right? This is not the end of the world with the Five of Cups. You keep going. 5. And the suit stops at 10. So you have to continue through. Actually, the suit stops at King, but you still have to follow through. There's no ending in sight with this. And I feel like that's the situation. Maybe there's something that's not done. You're looking too closely at a situation that's asking you for a bigger picture, looking at it from a bigger picture. And I think it's because the minute detail of something may not be exactly the focus. Now, you may want to watch Capricorn's reading, because there was 3 cards that came up. The Four of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. And that was very interesting because it looked like they were doing something to work on something for the future, but somebody didn't notice that they were doing it because their focus was on something completely different. Wow. This is really freaking me out because it's connecting here. Wow. Get to know each other. Learn to meet each other's needs for love for love. Learning to meet each other's needs for love is important for a relationship to grow. Well, the Page of Swords can indicate communication. Page of Pentacles can indicate an offer. Oh, are y'all dating? Who we seeing? Who's this? Who's your new boo? Guys, girls, let me know. Come on now. Don't let me hide in the dark. Don't let me be watching from the sidelines. Well, I mean, I am going to be watching from the sidelines, but don't let me be like looking through with the cards. Let me know what's going on. If there's a new boo out here, let me know. But if this is an ex that you're entertaining, or maybe you're trying to figure out if you want to entertain or not, whoo! I'm not gonna judge. I don't care. Like, if you just look, it's understandable. But this is interesting. Get to know each other and reconciliation. You're getting back to somebody, getting back with them. I think it's like the old stuff. The old stuff regarding this breakup that you may have had is still what's kind of keeping you guys broken up. I think there's just some things that you have to learn about this new person that definitely doesn't apply anymore because one, it's gone, and two, you have a new beginning. Ace of Swords. The reality of something is coming to a head, and I think you're realizing that the things that you were looking at may no longer apply anymore. Ooh, it's crazy. And soulmate relationship, or this is someone that's it has a profound connection with you. This doesn't have to be a soulmate. This doesn't have to be a karmic. It just could be that this person is intensely connected with you somehow. You just have a strong bond or something that you can't really explain about that connection because it's just the feeling is immense. But you guys have to get to know each other card, and sometimes it's saying get to know yourself. But let's be honest, Aquarians, you know yourselves better than anybody. You don't really need to know yourself. I mean, it's good to always keep yourself up to date, to get to know who you are every day and step forth. Maybe you're changing and you need to get more refreshed with who you are, but I don't think this is about you. Because you're talking about reconciliation. Reconciliation with your past self to get to know that. Maybe get to know your past self to understand what you need to know now so you can move forward.